to the Turnbuckle Tavern's YouTube page. Today we're talking about the WWE Draft and why it just doesn't work. Before we get started, make sure you click on the link in the description below. Subscribe to the YouTube page. The link's going to take you to our podcast page where you can subscribe, rate, and review to that. It'll take you to our Instagram, our Twitter, and our Pro Wrestling Tees store. You can click the bell up in the corner to know when we have new videos coming at you. But
back to the lecture at hand.
Let's get into the WWE Draft and why it doesn't work.
Fire away. I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
It doesn't work because they intermingle all the time. It's not two separate brands. It is two brands, but the talent just doesn't seem like two shows though.
And they try to make the draft seem special. Like next Friday, we're going to start the draft. Like, big deal. We know the champions of each brand are going to be drafted number one to the brands that they're champions of.
Right.
You never throw any surprises outside of your company. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's, to me, it's just like they do this draft all the time, but when was the last time that any of that mattered? It's never mattered. To me, it hasn't.
Early 2000s?
Yeah. I mean, look, the fact that they still have pay-per-views where they're all together, like, it seems like in the beginning it was meant to kind of separate it to drive that competition that McMahon lost when he bought WCW.
Right.
But all of your talent is under one umbrella. So you're still running events with both brands on the same event.
Right.
So you don't create that separation there.
No. And it just seems like he wants to shake things up and I get shaking it up. I think they should just all be on one roster.
Yeah.
I think they should eliminate a shit ton of belts. I think they should all be on one roster, and certain storylines you can sparse them out across both shows.
Right.
And it would, to me, it would fill the shows out because, dude, 3 hours of Raw, they have enough talent where honestly they should, if they had good booking, they have enough great talent on the main roster. They should be able to do a 2-hour show every night and have good storylines.
They have 5 hours a week to fill with main roster talent. Why are there still people on the sidelines that we don't see?
Exactly.
I don't understand that at all.
And I'm with you. It just doesn't, the draft does, one, it's hard to get me to watch, period. I'm not into the main roster. It's nothing to do with the talent because some of my favorite wrestlers are on those main rosters. It's just the booking is so terrible. I can't, it doesn't hold my attention.
Yep.
The logic is out the window on a lot of their storylines. There's a lot of start stop where storylines will just get jerked out from under you before they even get started. But the draft just seems to me like a ratings ploy. Like it never really does anything, even in the way they did it. Like I watched some clips of SmackDown and, you know, they had their regular show. And then every so often, Stephanie McMahon would come out and rattle off a bunch of names of where they went. There was no pomp and circumstance to it. It didn't feel special. Like it, to me, it felt like a afterthought, even though they build it as this big, the draft's happening. It didn't feel special. Like the one thing I will say about the early drafts, like in the early 2000s, the one thing I did like about those drafts is how they would have the entire roster in the locker room with a camera on them. And and they didn't tell the people where they were going. And when people got drafted, you would see their true reaction. I just remember that reaction of the Undertaker when he slung that chair. Remember that?
Yep.
And
Yep.
at least that's something. I mean, they always use the draft. You know, there's going to be one shocking moment where they break up a tag team.
Which they did this time.
Whoop-de-doo. You know what I mean? Like they broke
Yeah.
up the New Day,
Yeah.
which it's always one of those things. I don't want to shit on it before it even gets started because there is good things they could do it, but they could do with it. But I'm prone to lean towards thinking it's going to be shit because history has shown.
It's always been that way. And I'm just, the fact that they just come out and they say there's a draft, but like you said, Stephanie comes out and just reads a bunch of names, like make it a big deal. If you're going to promote it as something that's a big deal, make it a big deal.
Like they could have done something, if you want to utilize old talent, like legends of the past.
Yeah.
Bring out The Rock to represent the SmackDown brand. Bring out Stone Cold to represent the Raw brand. Have them come out and make the picks for the brands.
Well, one thing they need to do is they need to build up to it a couple of weeks in advance. And if they're going to have Stone Cold do that, then he needs to go. If he's going to be representing the Raw brand, then they need to have him on SmackDown going around in the back and talking to people, interviewing them, scouting,
yeah,
and do that for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
and have segments with these guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That like make it seem like there's a lot of prep going into it, and that all the talent are wondering who's going to pick me. And you could even have talent wanting to go somewhere else or wanting to stay, or you could have all these storylines that culminate around the draft, but they just, hey, let's will Stephanie out for 30 seconds every 15 minutes and have her rattle off around.
Now we're going to have Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, and then we're going to have they're going to SmackDown. All right.
Next match.
Yeah, come on, man. Like,
it's just boring. It's fucking boring, man. It doesn't matter because how many times have they done this? It's the same shit. Nothing's going to get shaken up. I remember when Vince and Stephanie and Shane and Hunter all came out. We're going to listen to the fans, and we're going, after they caught all that shit.
Okay.
Oh, where did that go? Nowhere.
They didn't listen to anything.
Like it's the same shit. And it kills me because people, like, we catch shit because we're very critical of WWE. We're very critical because we grew up loving it. We were diehard fans for 20 plus years.
Yep.
And you catch shit for shitting on it. But to me, it's like, am I supposed to just eat it and not say, like, am I supposed to say this is good and lie to myself? It's not fucking good, man.
No. And I think you're doing yourself a disservice as a wrestling fan if you're only saying that you like the product because it's what you've known.
Right.
If you can't evolve yourself enough to be able to say, man, this is terrible, I'm not going to give them any praise until they do something that's worthy of praise.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like I'll say the last 7 years, since probably 2013, somewhere around there, before AEW came around, it was very hard for me to love wrestling because I didn't like what WWE were doing. I didn't like the choices they were making, but it was the only mainstream big way to get your content, to get that fix. We're conditioned as wrestling fans. Monday night's wrestling night. I was always used to, that's the night where we watch wrestling. And
even now when I hear Monday night, my initial reaction is, oh, it's wrestling.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's funny though, because over the last year, it started, I don't think of it as much anymore. I don't
No,
think.
like if I don't think of it unless somebody says Monday night, and my mind automatically goes Monday Night Raw or Monday Night Wrestling.
Yeah, because now, I mean, Wednesday night is wrestling night.
Yep.
WW or NXT, AEW. That's
Yep.
the night that feels exciting for me now. But back to the draft, it's like, man, you have to. What's that old saying? If you know, the definition of insanity is trying to get a different result by doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
That is the definition of WWE booking.
Well,
They
a lot of
keep,
people say that Vince has gone insane. So
well, I mean, something's going on because they keep saying, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to change this. This is going to be shot, but it's the same shit over and over.
yeah,
If you want to shake things up, you really need to shake things up, like completely take away the scripts, fire the writers, give the talent more freedom,
sink or swim with the
have
talent.
real heels. There's no
Yeah.
real bad guys. Why? There's no real heels in WWE anymore.
Yeah.
Randy Orton, maybe. I mean, there's Randy Orton. Who like
Roman Reigns with what he's doing now.
Roman Reigns? Yeah, Roman Reigns is killing it. Finally, that's
Yeah.
like the one bright spot in all of WWE is Reigns right now.
Yep. And like we were talking earlier, though, it's sad that the one bright spot they have, I can't even make it through I can't even Tim Robbins my way through the
Tunnel of shit.
Right. I can't even Shawshank Redemption myself into watching Roman Reigns stuff.
Yeah, it's hard for me to get through an hour and 45 minutes of trash just to get that 15 minutes of badass Roman Reigns.
It's crazy. That just popped into my head, but it's a perfect analogy. Like Roman Reigns is on the other side of the cell that he was in.
Yeah, you're trying to get to him, but you have to swim through.
You got to swim through just channels of just garbage and literal shit of terrible characters.
Yeah. Well, but that's another thing. Talking about Roman Reigns, that's another thing that makes the draft not exciting is the fact that with these drafts, they're not going to really shake things up because they have storylines going on. Exactly. We knew as soon as Reigns was going to go to SmackDown because he's the champ.
Yeah.
So as soon as Reigns is going to SmackDown, Jey Uso's going.
Yep.
Because he's tied up in storyline with him. And I'm not hating on that. I love the Jey Uso Roman Reigns storyline. So you want them to stay together, but it takes away that.
You don't have that surprise element of the draft.
Right. There's no surprise element.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the draft. They need to get rid of it. What do you guys think? Leave a comment in the comment section below. I'm not for it. I know you're not for it. So leave a comment in the comment section. We'll be back at you with more videos soon.